Welcome. Welcome to the Avalon in Hollywood. It's a privilege to be here tonight to celebrate the life of this extraordinary woman that I'm just so touched by her soul and her spirit, and then her story just blew me away. She represents a generation, perhaps our greatest generation of Cubans. So without further ado, I would like to introduce the members of Angela Alvarez's orchestra. Let's meet the band. Agua. Agua. Habla, Carlito. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in finally making a teenage girl's dreams come true. And welcome the star of tonight's show, singing her own songs, the extraordinary talented and the sublimely beautiful Mrs. Angela Alvarez.
Angela Alvarez is just weeks away from her first professional concert in Hollywood. At the age of 90, she has waited her whole life for a chance to perform her songs.
I like to move. That's what I feel so well, because you see how I walk. I don't walk like a old lady like this. I walk like this. I dance with the broom, and then I put the broom like this, and I make exercise. Exercise like this. I have all the songs that I compose that I pass on. This one is an old book, and then all the song when I wrote a long time ago, August A62. Yes.
This one's very old.
They are very old. I think that music is the language of the soul. Yes. Lo mucho que te quiero y pienso que yo muero si no te vuelvo a ver. Quiero tenerte cerquita de mi alma, quiero estrecharte y volverte a acariciar.
This remarkable journey begins many years ago on the island of Cuba.
The largest and most important island of the West Indies is Cuba. Strikingly picturesque, metropolis of 750,000 people, Havana is a blend of the cosmopolitan and the native, the ancient and the modern.
I grew in a little town in Cuba, and my life when I was a little girl in Cuba was very beautiful. I was a very, very happy girl. My grandfather and my grandmother, my mother parent, he died 110, and she died 105. And they have 16 children. My father have a big farm in a town close to Elia, that was the name of the sugar mill where I was living.
Sugar is king. It is the heart of the island's economic life.
I love United States when I was a little girl. At that time, we don't have TV, but I hear in a station, a radio station in New York about everything in the United States. Glenn Miller, I like him. You are a little girl, you learn very easy any language. And then I like to say, pardon me, boy, Chattanooga, choo-choo. I didn't know what I say, but I sing all the song in English.
Chattanooga choo-choo, won't you choo-choo me home? Chattanooga choo-choo.
I started to learn to play piano when I was 8 years old. But when they put me in the private school, it was a person who come to teach guitar. And then I wrote a letter to my father. I want to learn to play guitar. And then he said, okay. And then that's why I start to sing. I have about 15 years old, and I said, went to my father, may I sing a song with the mariachi? And then he said, okay. And then I talked with the mariachi, I sing a song. And then the mariachi said, wow, I would like that you sing for us in our mariachi. Then I feel that I could be famous, but my father said, no.
Well, I remember she was always on the guitar. It was always any gathering with didn't matter how many family members were there. So my earliest memories of my grandmother would be her on the guitar and just cranking out a tune. If we were at a restaurant and there was a piano or a guitar, somehow she made herself up on that stage.
All the time when I see opportunity to me sing, I found it. I talk with everybody. My father one day told me that he wanted to talk to me. He asked me, well, now is the time that you are going to be to the university. May I have an idea what you have in your mind to do? Oh, yes, I want to tell you that I want to be a singer, to a star. Oh, my daughter, no, I like hear you to sing. I love you so much. No, I don't want that for my daughter. I love him very much. And then I keep that in my mind and in my heart, and I try to forget about it. But always was sing in me, yes.
She was a wonderful mother and a wonderful wife and a wonderful grandmother. But this underlining tone where this dream that was just on the back burner.
It was always during family gatherings that we would, after dinner, or a lot of time when the family was together on holidays. She just wanted to entertain after every meal or whenever she was there. So it's just this collage of memories that I have of her just always playing. I don't know, I just had some kind of an epiphany where I called her and I said, Nana, I'm gonna fly out to Baton Rouge and I want you to sing every song that you've ever written for me. I want to hear them all, and I want to hear what they're about, and just so that we can have them in the family. I'm going to stick a microphone in front of you, and I just want you to play your songs.
Se vivía llorando, se vive ahí deseando que puedas algún día a tu patria regresar.
Now that I had these recordings, I could become more familiar with the songs. And even when we were recording them in her house, I just remember I kept having this reaction to how incredible the melodies of her songs were. It was almost like we had heard them before, but they had never existed anywhere.
Well, I composed that song in Cuba. Living, I have 14 or 15 years old, and at that age, we dream a lot. And he was a guy that he was my friend, and then I like him, but he don't pay attention to me. I write a song about how beautiful is love.
So tell us who that boy was.
It was my husband. And I composed a lot of songs thinking of him, yes. Y sabiendo que tengo tu amor, ya nada me importa. Así me siento feliz.
Now that these songs have been discovered and you see the writing, you see the emotion, you see all that was in there, you see how it was her coping mechanism. During those times, she just expressed herself through song, through composition, and it's just beautiful.
My husband, Orlando, he come to LSU, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and he graduated mechanical engineer to work in sugar industry. When he come back with the degree, he told me one day he want to talk with my father because he want to marry me.
And this is a very special and unusual thing, these songs, mark moments in her life.
The company, when we married, they give us a house because there was the style in the sugar mill. And then I have 4 children, José, Maria, Orlando, and Gerardo. I was very, very, very happy with my children. And it was a very happy life that I have at that time in Cuba.
But I remember they all lived in a little town in Cuba called Guaymaro. My mother had my sister, my 3rd brother, Orlando, and my young brother, Jerry, or Gerardo.
And they had a farm too, so we go there, too, and play with the horses, cows, and all animals, chickens.
But it was a happy life.
It was.
I remember the first memory of her singing, she would give my brother Jerry and myself, and he would sing a lullaby that involved a race. And then, you know, my horse would be winning, and then Jerry would start complaining, and then she would change the song on the fly where Jerry's horse would be winning.
This is me in Varadero, Cuba, with my children. It was a beautiful beach. This is a good memory. When we was living in that sugar mill, José come from the school very happy. Marucha take piano class, and Orlando like to help the man who clean in the yard, and Bobby all the time asking for food because he like food. Yes, very happy. But suddenly, Fidel took the country.
Exiled revolutionary Fidel Castro landed in Cuba in 1956 in an attempt to overthrow the corrupt government of Fulgencio Batista.
It was a boarding school, so we lived in a big dorm with about 100 people, 100 kids. One of the Jesuit brothers, during lunch, said to us, I remember this very vividly because it was really quite revealing at that point. He says, I want to show you a film, and I want to show you a film that you cannot talk to anybody about. And I said, well, what is it? So, well, you'll see it. So we went into, there was a classroom where they had a projector, and he showed us a film about communism. And then he said, at that point, he said, sorry. He said at that point, this is what's going to happen.
Batista does not want to admit that he is incapable of defeating us.
One night, the town was attacked. My father kind of sensed that this was going to happen. I guess he got word that they were going to have a big push into the town to try to drive out the Batista forces. I remember right at sunset, the first shot went out.
There was gunfire. That was sort of one of the earliest strongholds of Batista that Fidel was able to take, because it was right at the foothills where he was. And they would fight at night, and my father would get us all together, put us in like the bathtub, and put a mattress over everybody.
Our house was the farthest away from the Batista army barracks. So because of that, I think that's where they established their control center there. And I could hear throughout the night them talking and instructions and what have you on a walkie-talkie. And
going to school the next day, seeing the shells, the bazooka shells and stuff like that on the street. I remember seeing the bullet holes in the houses.
The concern now was, this was going to happen again. It was just a matter of time before they came back, and so for safety, my father then made arrangements to fly us out on, the only thing that was coming in and out was the mail by air, and it was one of those single prop planes. We flew out one morning, and we didn't take anything with us. It was just what we were wearing at the point, because it was very quick. So we flew to Havana. We stayed in Havana, and I started listening to the radio. And then all of a sudden, the announcement comes out that Batista has left. And so I run in and I said to my father, Batista has left. And he said, be quiet, you're going to get us in trouble here, because there was a lot of hush-hush back in those days.
Joyous followers of Fidel Castro sweep triumphantly through the Cuban capital hours after their rebellion had toppled the regime of Fulgencio Batista.
It was chaotic. After that, I mean, the streets were full of people firing shots, and there was the normal citizenship went onto the streets, and it was celebrations, and Castro drove in. He came in with a tank and the troops and what have you, and he had a parade going down the Malecón, and we were on a third floor looking at it, so I was very close.
At first, he promises free elections. He acknowledges many of the traditional rights of citizens and the established institutions of government. But the elections never take place, and the government quickly becomes an instrument of coercion.
Batista left and Fidel took the power, and everything was changed.
Fidel Castro's new regime wasted no time in making radical changes to the country.
In the school where my children was, they put new people to teach them, and one day my children come to say they have a new teacher. They don't like her, what she teach that day. And she started to teach the children about socialism. The teacher said, well, children, you believe in God? Yes. If you believe in God because God is good, close your eye and ask a candy for him. And repeat with me, God, because you are good, put a candy in my desk. Open your eye, no candy. Now, ask Fidel. Fidel loved Cuba, Fidel loved you, Fidel loved the revolution, and then close your eye and say, Fidel, because you love me, you love my parents, and you are good, put a candy in my desk. Open your eye, candy was there.
I wasn't going to school. My father didn't want me to go to school because the schools became sort of the way to indoctrinate kids. So he says, you're not going to school, you're going to stay away from the schools.
I do remember that there was a dirt road that you could see from the house, maybe about a half a mile, 3/4 of a mile, and we would always be cognizant if there was a car coming, that there would be someone we knew, because we were afraid that they would come and ask about, why aren't you in school?
I was thinking why that's happening in Cuba, that they have a change, you know, and then I was thinking I would like to break that. And then I have the inspiration to sing about that. Most of the time when I compose a song, the inspiration comes to my mind or something happened in my life that touched me very deep.
With just 15 days before her concert, Angela and Carlos began rehearsing songs at her home in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Damos una vez más de ahí, ¿ok? Bueno, vamos a seguir a romper el yugo.
Okay.
¿Te sientes bien con esa?
Sí.
Okay.
I have a grandson that is the son of José, my oldest son, and Carlos, he went to Boston and make the master in music, and I feel very proud of him. Yeah, we have a lot of connection because we understand very well together because they love music and I love music.
The thing about Cuban music is it really is a fusion of European tradition mixed, infused with this African tradition. So much of what makes Cuban music sound the way it does are those two worlds coming together. Ahora, si yo pudiera.
Si yo pudiera romper el yugo que te aprisiona con gran poder, feliz sería, yo cantaría himno de paz.
Perfect. Bring in the rhythm section as we go here. The bass is always really, really, really important in Cuban music. the rhythm she picked and the style she picked, there's nothing more Cuban. Whenever she talks about this song, she talks about, she wishes there was a way to calm the anger and the hate.
No puedo vivir, quiero sollozar.
¿Siente bien?
Sí.
Along with drastic social, political, and economic changes, rumors were rife of children being taken away to be raised by the state.
All the laws start to change. And Fidel make a law that he send your children to Russia for 2 years when they are under 18. When President Kennedy heard that, he opened the door for Cuban people send the children to United States.
It became obvious that we were going to leave.
Life changed a lot when we need to make the decision that we have to leave Cuba.
Then the process of trying to get out, I believe, began. And when you made known to the government that you were going to leave, they would come and do an inventory of your possessions to make sure that when you left Cuba, all those possessions were still there. And then once you have done everything, you have to go back and wait for the announcement of your leave. And that happened in 1962. I remember being at the farm and my father said, we got to go to Havana, we're leaving. He wasn't leaving, he was going to stay. At that point, he was working for the Castro government. What Castro did is, with the sugar mill industry, is that he turned it into regional productions.
Blessed earth, blessed sugarcane. The United States bought the huge sugarcane crop. That is, when Cuba was good and obedient. But on the state farms, they are harvesting without worries. You are not buying because we are no longer a good little Cuba. It doesn't matter. Others will buy.
You had no choice but to really work for him at that point in time. You couldn't reveal your hand that you were leaving. You could, the fact that we were leaving, it was okay, but the fact that he was not applying to leave Cuba, he never did apply, then that was okay. You know, he was safe.
This is my husband and me. When we take that picture is when we made the decision that I have to go to the United States with my 4 children. And I told him that I want to go to a studio to make a picture with him because when I left Cuba, he stayed in Cuba. And then I go to the United States and I told him, I want to keep a memory of that moment because I don't know we are going to see each other. They send you a telegram the day that is your flight. I went to the airport with my 4 children.
Well, the plan was, and they were all at the airport, my grandmother and all of the children, and they did understand that they would never come back to Cuba. It just wasn't an option. It wasn't a vacation. It was the end. They all had like 4 pairs of underwears, 3 pairs of pants, 5 shirts, whatever they could carry with them, because that was it. They weren't allowed to carry too much out of Cuba.
The airport was very sad in a way because we knew that our dad wasn't coming. Me so young, I didn't know really what was going on, but I knew it wasn't right because when we were leaving our home.
And what do you remember about that day?
That's gonna be tough too.
It always happens, and.
Take a minute. Wow. Give me a second. Anyway, the reason this is difficult is because I don't know this is possible. that was when we got separated, you know, and I think a lot of that junk in my life, you know, in terms of how things changed, I can trace it back to that moment.
We left on May 23rd, 1962. I'll never forget the day.
When we were checking, the man who checked say, for the 5 passenger, 1 can go. And then I said, who is that? Angela Alvarez. That's me? Why I didn't go? Why I can't go? Because I fixed all my paper in the same place with my children. Well, listen, don't make any question to us. We always are right. If I say you can go, that's it. Don't ask me any question.
I mean, at the last moment before we boarded the plane, they said she couldn't go.
The guy from the government looked at it and says, this is no good. So you can't leave. So at that point in time, it became sort of a decision as to whether we were going to go or not.
She asked me and asked Bobby, you know, my brother. We're the younger ones. He said, what do you want to do? You want to go or you want to stay? And no, I wanted to go. I mean, get on a plane.
So that's when I said, no, I want to go, you know, I want to ride the plane. So it's like an adventure to me.
The man told me, you can go tomorrow if you go to that place and fix the mistake. What are you going to do? Are you going to send your children? Yes. They can go? Yeah, they go.
My grandmother had to make a split-second decision because she wasn't allowed to call my grandfather. So the children stay or they go on their own, but she was not able to go.
I've always been in awe of that moment for her, that she could do that.
When they was walking to reach the fly, my husband and all my family was in the terrace looking, and they see them by themselves. They don't see me. And my husband Angela say, where is your mother? No, she can't come. They don't let her come. And they go in the airplane. But immediately I call a friend of mine and tell her what happened. And then she told me that she go to the airport in Miami and take my 4 children to her house until I go there next day.
The flight, which is only, I think, 45 minutes or something like that. I mean, you don't get to think much about the flight because you leave Cuba and you're landing in Miami shortly afterwards. So
they gave us gum on the plane, which we hadn't seen gum in Cuba for about probably 2 years, bubble gum, and they gave us like I think they gave us like a ham sandwich, and we hadn't seen ham in a long time either, and we were excited.
So the children, I would imagine, was like, okay, mom's not coming, but we'll see her soon. And soon to a child, you know, doesn't really have any concrete meaning. It's just soon.
It was okay. I mean, at that moment, it was okay for me. But looking back, that was, I think, the moment that really, I think, changed my life. You know, being without her.
Next day, we went to the place, and the man said, I don't know why they say you that, because everything is right. Well, I can go today? No, you can't go today. You need that we send you telegram again. Could be a month, 6 months, or a year.
We were well received and well cared for a few days till, you know, they had to kind of give us up to the welfare system.
Operation Pedro Pan was the Catholic Church and the U.S. government's extraordinary exodus of 14,500 unaccompanied Cuban children. Between 1960 and 1962, kids as young as 5 arrived at Miami Airport and were taken to special camps nearby.
These are copies of the airport logs. They arrived on May 23rd of 1962. Alvarez, Portilla, Maria, Gerardo, José, and Orlando, and their birth dates. It's important to realize that these were commercial flights. There were no Pedro Pan flights. You had 2 flights per day going out of Cuba, and everybody wanted to leave. So getting a seat on a plane was like winning the lottery.
We ended up in Florida City. It was an Air Force base compound with many apartments. All the apartments were turned into living quarters for kids.
We wanted to mark the camp as a very special place, not only for us, but for all the children that were in the camp. On that side of the street, all those were boys and girls' houses. This at night was a lot of activity because that's where it was like a park, because in Cuba we had central parks, and so this was our park here in the United States, and that's why we had it named Pedro Pan Place, because it was our place, our very special place.
The place was fenced, so you couldn't get out, the whole compound. We stayed in an apartment. In the room that we were, which was probably not more than 10 by 11, there were bunk beds, three levels high. There was probably about 15 people living in that room. I think in our apartment, which was a 3-bedroom apartment, there might have been 40 kids or something like that. So it was chaotic.
But at night, when our heads hit the pillow, everybody started crying at the same time, and you could hear, a choir of crying in the room, because at that point we couldn't avoid but to think what is happening to our parents in Cuba. There were no cell phones or any way to communicate. Sometimes letter would take 2 months, so there was no real-time information of what was happening in Cuba.
At the time that I was there were maybe 3,000 kids in Florida City. They would stay there for a while, and then they would fly them out to different places around the United States.
When her papers were not going to go through and it was going to take some time, something more permanent had to be decided, and that's when they were shipped off to Colorado.
The welfare called me to Cuba, and they told me if my children can go to Pueblo, Colorado, where they have a cousin there. And I told them, if you promise me, don't separate, I say okay. And they sent to Pueblo.
They called us up one morning and said, you're leaving. And there was a bus of about 30 people, 30 kids that were going to the same place that I was going in Pueblo, Colorado, to the orphanage.
Well, children were sent to Catholic archdioceses throughout the United States. We're still researching the number, but we have like 48 states and over 100 cities where the children were sent to.
They've never been separated from their mom. Now they're in an airplane to Colorado, and you just get there, and it is what it is. Boys go to one side, girls go to the other, and just a realization of, I'm all by myself.
The children arrived at the Sacred Heart Orphanage in Pueblo, Colorado. It was a mix of Cuban refugees and troubled children from all over the country.
When the children flew over her and her 3 brothers, the boys stayed together in the boys' side of the orphanage, while my mother was alone in the girl side, and she experienced some unpleasantness there a lot because it was an orphanage for abused children. So she was going into an environment unknown in Colorado, and she comes from an island.
There's a pecking system, almost like a small prison, Right off the first day, I went to eat for breakfast, and they were taking the food off my plate. So I confronted that kid, at recess. I went to him. I didn't say anything at that moment, but I confronted him, and we got into a big fight. But there was nobody there to solve this. This is a fight, and they would just let it. Pretty much, they would let it go to its normal conclusion.
My mom very quickly, as an older child at 9 and 10 and 11, she was in the orphanage. She was assigned little ones to take care of. So that mothering came in, and she would say, and that was her job. She had duties to do. She was very good at ironing. So she ironed all the priestly robes and all the children's clothes. She had a little girl that was rescued out of an abusive situation, and that was her little girl that she took care of, and it was her baby. It was her child. So sort of an instant growing up. I'm no longer a child. There's no time for that. Now I'm a motherly figure to this child, and I must help that child. That was my mother's heart. I must help. I must comfort. I must make this better.
My youngest brother was 7. My, I'm gonna say Orlando, I'm gonna say 8 or 9, in that range. Yeah, very. And my sister was a year and a half younger than me.
You were looking after them and being responsible for them and keeping them safe.
My brothers were there, and Jose, you know, to me, he's my second dad. Jose he put the pants of a father, and he did a good job.
Do you remember being aware of a sense of responsibility?
Oh, of course.
That you had for your younger siblings?
Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that was always there, and it was always something that took a toll on my childhood.
I'm sure, because they're asking you questions that you can't answer.
Right. And it was really the responsibility of playing that role.
After months of agony, Angela finally received a telegram allowing her to travel to the United States.
They left Cuba May 17, 1962. And they sent me the telegram for come to United States, August 8, 62. You can take with you anything. They don't let me bring a suitcase, just my dress on, and no money, and no English. When I go in the flight, a Pan-American flight to come over here to the United States, and the airplane go up, I was sitting in the window, and I looked down, and I saw Cuba there. I say, goodbye, Cuba. I don't know when I'm going to see you again, but I'm going to keep a good memory in my heart from you. And then, when I sit straight, I start to sing, Que linda es Cuba, and then I compose the song.
These songs, in a way, were almost like a coping mechanism for she lived this really dramatic life, and she had to make decisions that no mother should ever have to make.
Angela tries out some of her songs with Carlos's new arrangements and local friends and family.
Carlos, mira, dice que él tiene un fan.
How many more do you want to do?
One many more?
¿Cuántas más quiere cantar? ¿Quiere comprar por completo?
Sí, bueno, mi gran amor y qué linda es mi Cuba. Cubano, sentimos muy dentro un hondo dolor. Deseamos que un día.
She is someone who ultimately is about celebrating life, no matter how difficult. So you're hearing these lyrics, and they're difficult, and she's just celebrating life underneath it all. The song itself, and then when she performs it, it really does show us who she is, how positive of a person she is, given everything she's been through.
Angela arrived in Miami, Florida with just the clothes on her back, but her children were 2,000 miles away in Colorado.
And immediately, I went to see my friend who picked up them and talk with my children by phone because I don't have phone. I say, Mommy is here in the United States. We are going to see Ish very soon. I need to find a job. The welfare told me, Mrs. Alvarez, if you found a job in Miami, we promise you to bring the children to you because you need to sustain them. At that time, all Miami was full of American. They don't have Latin people there. You need to speak English to find a job. For me, it was very hard to find a job. And a friend of mine, he told me, I have a job for you, Angela. Are you crazy? I don't speak English. No, you don't need to speak English. It's to picking tomato in the field. You don't need to speak English with the tomato. You pick a tomato, put it in the basket. They give me a big hat, and then I wash the tomato with my tear because it was very hard for me. And all the time when I pick up a tomato, I say, God, why you did that to me?
And I remember writing letters to her. Of course, it was in Miami, and Lord knows, working, probably making 10 cents an hour or something like that. And, you know, we write her letters, and her letters sounded pretty normal coming back, you know.
And my grandmother, it was just that spirit. She picked tomatoes. She was a waitress and didn't speak the language. She just did everything she had to do to get her children back. And I think the children knew that. My mother knew that. My uncles knew that it wasn't for lack of love or abandonment or any of that. It was just the circumstances. And that sort of helps you persevere. This is not forever situation. Really tough situation to be in, but it wasn't forever.
The first check that they pay me, I went to the welfare and said, look, I have a job. Oh, God for you, Miss Angela, that you have a job, but you don't make enough money for support your 4 children here with you. If we found a job for you in Pueblo, you go over there? Yes. And they sent me to Pueblo.
Angela finally made it to Pueblo, Colorado, and was reunited with her children.
This is me in the airport of Pueblo with my children.
Look at them. Show us who is who.
He asked her, who is she? And then I say, I'm your mother. And then, oh, okay. He forgot to speak Spanish.
That's Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby, yeah.
I forgot to speak Spanish. By the time my mom came, I couldn't communicate with her, and I didn't. When she came to, I didn't recognize her who she was. I asked my sister, who's her? That's your mom, you know. And then I realized that, you know, it was her. Well, it was a very touchy moment there, but it turned out to be, you know, the greatest moment in our life.
Somebody was there with a camera when my grandmother reunited with her children, and just the rawness of that moment in my mother's face. So my uncles were together, and I know that the oldest, José, sort of took charge and sort of protected his brothers, because that's always been who he is as the oldest. But my mom, you know, by herself on the girl's side, and just the emotion of that picture, sort of this joy, but then intense realization of breaking free of all that she lived and just feeling it. You just couldn't feel it in the orphanage. There was no time for that. You just survive, you just push through. But seeing her mother and just feeling the rawness, the hurt, the pain of that moment, that picture just is worth 1,000 words too.
She was very much hugging the young ones rather than me. So, you know, I was already 15 or whatever, 16. So, you know, her concentration, which it makes sense, you know, it was mostly with Jerry and Orlando.
And it's really a gift from God that she was able to come to us.
But this was no happy ending.
The job that I found for me is clean a bank after the people left in the town of Pueblo. And then he take me every day at 5, and I be there for clean the bank.
Still not earning enough money, Angela was only able to see her children at weekends. She soon became a mother figure to many of the other children in the orphanage, who would join the visits at her tiny basement apartment.
They keep my children in the place. And then every weekend, I bring my children to my apartment, Saturday and Sunday. And always I like to bring a Cuban boy and a Cuban girl. I cook for them. And
Do
then,
you sing them songs?
yeah, and then I sing, we singing, and then everybody was happy because we see each other.
She played a huge role in our life. She was our mother in absentia because our parents were in Cuba. So the weekends were looked forward to.
So fun, affection?
She always, fun and affection, but always a song.
In some of our Sunday visits, she would play the guitar and sing Cuban songs, Cuban melodies, and sort of wrap up the visit with her singing, yes.
This one is Juan del Águila with her in my little apartment in the basement on Christmas time, the first time in Pueblo, first year. I cook for everybody, and then we celebrate Christmas.
It was just a very lonesome time. So she particularly took on a very important role in our life there. And then afterwards, because we've had reunions and we keep in touch, and there's a bond that was created that nobody will be able to break or anything.
To tell you the truth, I don't know that I was mature enough at the time, even 12, 13, 14, to realize the radical change that we had gone through. It had a decisive and irreversible impact, not only on our lives and that of our families, but indeed on an entire community and nation.
This is a Cuban-American story. It's an immigrant story. And it's a story of displacement and a story of having to start over again and longing for your home and where you come from.
When I left there, we were told we're going to Miami. I thought it was a vacation, you know. I was 5.5 years old, so they never said, you know, we're leaving Cuba, we're never coming back, and there's an adventure aspect. There's many kids in Pedro Pan who never saw their families again. Some of their families were then imprisoned and gone to jail, and they were separated for life. In the case of Angela, you know, she didn't come here and say, oh, now I can sing, or no, she had to pick tomatoes, she had to do whatever she had to do, along with her husband and that generation, to immediately make do for their family. It wasn't a question of, oh, I don't want to do that kind of job. It's like, what's the job that's open today, and I will do it.
I went to a place that they have a beautiful garden. When I see the flower, different color, different size, I compare the flower to my children. I promise to myself giving them more attention and more love than before for the separation that we have, that they miss me and I miss them. And there's a composed song, En mi jardín.
En mi jardín tengo rosas, crece también el clavel, allí vuelan mariposas
and Mi Jardín, which is in my garden. It's more of like a song and a bolero. It has that kind of ballad dance feel, but some of the percussion's playing more of a song tradition. And then towards the end here, we break into a full-on song right here.
Through a contact in Miami, Angela managed to get a letter to the president of Mexico. She begged him to help get her husband out of Cuba. The president intervened, and Orlando was sent to a sugar mill in Mexico.
We received a call from my husband from Mexico. When the telephone ring, I talk with my husband. I cry a lot. Emotion, because he gave me security to me because I was living by myself. And then he told me when I want to talk with the children. And then each children talked to him, my daughter, everybody was crying. Everybody was crying.
That triggered the thing that we were going to leave eventually the orphanage, because now my father is able to support the family.
I'll never forget that day. And it was a very emotional day. We rode the train from Pueblo, Colorado to Mexico, and he met us in Mexico City.
My husband was waiting for me in Mexico, in the station, and it was a very, very beautiful moment to see each other.
So how long did all of that take?
Oh, it take about 2 years.
As the show date approaches, rehearsals move to a live studio in California.
This song was another one that I got to really, through talking about it with her and working with her on this song, I got to experience her love for my grandfather.
Tú me enseñaste a sentir.
You know, it's so poetic and it's so romantic and beautiful. My father has a very romantic voice, and we've kind of agreed this would be a great song for him to sing.
Yo contigo lo aprendí. That's a take. That's a take. That's a take.
Uy, qué lindo.
Reunited at last, the Alvarez family then followed Orlando to sugar mills around Central America.
My father, he told us that he wanted to leave Mexico and come to the United States. He gets a job in a sugar mill called Talisman, an hour and a half from Miami. So we moved to Miami.
It was a program on radio in a station in Miami that in the morning they say, if you wanna sing and be a star, you can enroll in that program. And one day I called. It was in the morning, I was in the kitchen. My children was at school, my husband was at work. And then I sing it and I won the first prize. And then the man told me, well, next step is you are going to sing in a nightclub. And then one day, my husband come early from the sugar Talisman, and I told him, I be disobedient with you because I did something that I know you are not going to like it. And he was looking at me, well, please tell me what you did. I went to singing in a place and I told him everything. And he told me, well, it was okay what you did, but nightclub? No, you don't sing in the nightclub. I just stopped.
A year and a half, he got a word that there was an opening in Louisiana in a sugar mill called Texas. So we moved to Louisiana to a little town called White Castle.
So when I became American citizen, when the ceremony finished, the judge come and give to each couple American flag. And then he asked me, well, I want to ask you a question. During the ceremony, all the time you was smile, smile. You have to have a big reason. Yes, I have a big reason. You know what? Before, I'm a Cuban lady who don't speak English. But now I am an American who speaks a fluent Spanish.
The Alvarez family finally settled down to make their life in Louisiana. But then news came that Orlando was ill.
He smoked a lot, and then he have cancer in the lung. He died 53, very young. Well, when my husband died, I was living here in that house, thinking in my husband how I'm going to be in my life, because I'm walking without, I didn't know where I go. And then I composed a song, Camino sin rumbo, that I walk without, I didn't know where I go. Yeah. Camino sin rumbo, qué pena me da. Camino sin rumbo, no puedo encontrar. Yo busco consuelo, yo busco la paz. Camino serena por toda la faz. It takes time to boil the water to come up. Many people ask me why I didn't marry again when I became widow. Because I promised to the Lord that I want to be a good mother with them. The rest of my life that I'm going to be alive, I'm going to dedicate to them. There are my 4 children when they was around 5 months. José, Marucha, Orlando, and Bobby. My daughter Marucha, well, her name is Maria, but we call her Marucha. When she lived in Spain, she told me that she don't like Maria. I like, in Spain, people call people Marucha, Carmucha. When she was preparing her wedding, she told me, Mother, do you think you can compose a song to me about my wedding? And she said, I wanted that you sing in my wedding. I said, okay, but that day I could do it, because when I saw her walking, I started to play the song, but I can't because I started to cry. I could sing in the church, yes. Maria, 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 es tu día feliz, es tu día dichoso. Sé que has logrado lo que tú has soñado. Tu felicidad es también la mía. She died cancer in 1999, and she had 46 years old. To me, it was very, very hard moment to lose my daughter. But God always gave me peace.
I think it did represent some closure for her, you know, singing this song. Towards the end here, she says she wishes that she'd never, you know, brush against a thorn.
When my mother passed away, it was her and I in the hospital when they wheeled her in. And my grandmother, her words to Milan, we're just gonna hold on to the Lord.
The person that I became as a result of that experience, it's good. I mean, I think the strength and the ability to overcome, it's been a good thing for me, without a doubt. And I said, given the choice, I would tell my mother, do it exactly the same way. That was the right decision.
My father said, you know, why don't you come down and work for me? And I did that, so I got my master's in business administration. I heard of the job in Florida. Then I moved to my current position where I became general manager, and I've been since 1989. It's going into 28 years.
Spaghetti's Pizza. I've been working here for 36 years.
And does your mom come here?
Yeah, she comes every day and just watch me.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, she does.
She comes here every day?
Yeah, and she have adopted everybody as their grandchildren, you know, and she everybody loves her here.
I put those pillows here because if I don't use the pillow, I look that I'm driving like this, like an old lady. And then I put those pillows because in that way, I'm straight.
Angela worked for the state of Louisiana until her retirement at the age of 60. Then she took a job as a babysitter, housekeeper, and cook to a local family for the next 30 years.
I quit to work with them in June. And then now I'm a free person. I can do whatever I want.
You know, asking someone in their 90s who's never given a professional concert in her life to get on an airplane, fly to Los Angeles, sing in a historic theater with a world-class band in front of an entire audience is pretty much a bad idea. For her to say yes, it's extraordinary.
At a production rehearsal in Los Angeles, Angela performs her songs with a full band for the first time.
¿Cómo se siente?
Muy bien,
Qué
muy,
bueno.
muy contenta.
¡Qué bueno!
Nana, I want you to meet Andy Garcia.
Oh my goodness, no, that's not true. My goodness. Ay, ay, ay. my God. You are my hero, mi héroe, porque siempre que veo tus programas, ay, Dios mío, qué maravilla, que Dios te bendiga.
You're our hero.
Okay. Thank you.
I heard you needed a bongo player.
Okay. Oh, my Lord. This is the most beautiful thing that could happen in my life.
Yeah, but we're going to have a little rehearsal on the night.
Okay.
Did you take a wrench out of here?
Andy García, no puedo creerlo.
This project has been 75 years in the making. She literally has been waiting for this moment her entire life.
Okay, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Angela Alvarez.
No creo que voy a llorar, al contrario, estoy muy contenta. Quiero darle las gracias a cada uno de ustedes por este maravilloso reunión que tenemos aquí y que con la música de ustedes yo haya podido realizar el sueño de mi vida. El miércoles, que es 13 de junio, que va a ser el concierto, es mi cumpleaños. Cumplo 91 años.
Estás sola, ¿ok? Él te va a seguir.
Ok. No hay nada más hermoso en la vida que el amor. Hermoso para aquel que lo ha sentido, para aquel que lo ha vivido con todo su corazón.
Just about every musician on this project has either won a Grammy or been nominated for a Grammy. We're very lucky to have this band.
When I walked in, man, it's just the love in the air. It was just amazing. This project is incredibly all about love. That's the way I look at it.
Así como un fuerte viento que llegó de noche.
When I met Nana, it was very special for me. I mean, and knowing that she wrote all these lyrics and the stories that she started telling us, it was like, it's a lot of love in that room.
Linda, beautiful.
¿Sirvo como compositora?
Sí, sí.
Tengo como 40 más.
Hay que seguir. I was astounded when I heard her music. First of all, when I saw her sing, just the sophistication and beauty of her lyrics, and how they were, how they were formed musically, It shows her, how dedicated she was to the music of her culture and how much she enjoyed it, even though she never had a chance to sing professionally. It was still, music was so alive in her throughout her life. This is a real discovery here, and I'm honored to be a part of it, to be asked to just lend my support.
She's still the real deal from that era. You can listen to it in her melodies, in her chord structure. It's of the era. It's very authentic, and it's like, wow.
1, 2, 3, 4. Realizar todos mis sueños.
Contemplar todo lo bello que es mirar, como siempre brilla el sol.
When she said yesterday, my birthday is the same day of the concert, I'm gonna be 91. I'm like, she said, well, everything in its time. It's never too late, you never know. This is the perfect example. Look at this,
She's amazing, 91, and with a beautiful voice, a beautiful spirit, and really strong. She's standing up on the rehearsals, and it's amazing. She has more energy than all of us.
Yeah, Nana's done singing until the concert. The biggest kind of unknown and challenge is there's no rule book for what a 90-year-old voice can do, especially someone who doesn't have a lifelong career of doing this. And so trying to gauge when we've pushed her too far and physically, you know, and it's hard to know that because she's always just a yes to everything. She's working harder than anybody here. There's just been a lot and I've had doubt.
In the beginning, I was very excited, very nervous, but now I'm relaxed because I know everything is going to be okay because I trust in the Lord. Yes. I feel so happy in my life for many, many years ago. I don't feel like I'm feeling now because this is something that, like, the program is going to be my dream come true.
After a 75-year wait, the theater is booked, the band is ready, and Angela's big day has finally arrived.
Wow.
Esto no va a estar aquí. Va a salir de ahí, de la esquina esa.
Que mi música se oiga. Bendito seas, Padre, y bendícenos a todos y que esto sea un triunfo para ti, Padre. Bendícenos en el nombre de tu precioso Hijo Jesucristo. Amén.
Amén.
Once upon a time, and nearly a lifetime ago, on the Caribbean island of Cuba, a father asked his teenage daughter what she wanted to do with her life. And the little girl said, "Father, I want to be a singer, and I want to be a songwriter." And he said, "Oh no, my daughter, that is not suitable for you. That is not a suitable life for you. You sing for the family and for your friends, but no more." And the dutiful daughter obeyed her father. That teenage girl's name was Angela Alvarez. So tonight we're here to celebrate on her 91st birthday. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in finally making a teenage girl's dreams come true. And welcome the star of tonight's show, singing her own songs, the extraordinary talented and the sublimely beautiful Mrs. Angela Alvarez.
quiero vivir, quiero sollozar, lo conseguiré si regreso a ti. Si yo pudiera romper el yugo que te aprisiona con gran poder, feliz sería, yo cantaría himno de paz. Oh Dios eterno, tiende tu mano, ayuda a Cuba a renacer, calma la ira, aplaca el odio, dale al cubano la libertad.
Angela Alvarez.
Muchas gracias, muchas gracias. Yo voy a invitar a mi hijo Pepitín a que venga al escenario a cantar conmigo. Lo vamos a hacer por primera vez. We are going to sing for first time together that song. My only daughter, Maria, when she had planned to marry, and then the day that has the wedding in the church, he told me that sing the song for her that I composed for her, and then I can't do it because I feel too emotional, and then I start to cry when I start to sing the song, and then, but I'm going to sing here today. Maria, 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 Maria. Es tu día feliz, es tu día dichoso. Sé que has logrado lo que tú has soñado. Tu felicidad es también la mía, porque sé que este día tú serás muy feliz. María, María, no quisiera nunca que una espina te encontrara. Tu sendero yo siempre de rosas sembraré. A mi Dios yo le pido que te haga dichosa y que nunca una espina hiera tu corazón. María, 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 tu felicidad es también la mía.
little round of applause for this extraordinary band.
I'm going to tell a little bit in English because my English is not too good. Gracias, que Dios me los bendiga a todos. Bueno, pues los voy a complacer. Y hoy la voy a cantar. Un canto a mi Cuba. Hoy quiero cantar a mi Cuba bella. Hoy tal vez voy a llorar pensando en ella, porque Cuba es mi patria querida, porque en Cuba fue donde yo nací. Pasé mis años de infancia y todas mis ansias se quedaron allí. Pienso mucho en ti, oh patria querida. Sueño como Martí de verte libre algún día, porque eres tú, oh patria querida, ese bello rincón que añoro cada día. Quisiera tu cielo mirar, tu suelo besar y allí descansar. Quisiera tu cielo mirar, tu suelo besar y allí descansar. Quisiera tu cielo mirar, tu suelo besar y allí descansar. Quisiera